What is your approach when you're talking to them that helps you set these appointments?
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, I'm still not perfect. All right. I think you and I both know we're just trying to get our foot in the door, right? I mean,
That's
the
right.
objective is the appointment number one, two, to get the lead. But I'm always trying to get my foot in the door because um you heard my phone skills the other day. Listen, they might not be there, but you
Sure.
get me in the door, it's almost game over. You know what
Yep.
I mean? In those 30 days that I got the 9 listings, I probably went on like 14 listing presentations. So it wasn't just those 9 listings. I got 9 listings, but I went on 14 listing presentations.
Sure.
Um,
Which is great conversion, by the
yeah, I
way.
was gonna say, so it's a great conversion rate. You know what I mean? I'll take
Phenomenal.
that all
Yeah.
day long.
And
Um,
we're gonna talk about that in a second, but stay
yeah.
where
So
you're at right
anyway,
now. Yeah.
so I always try to switch up. Like I shouldn't, but I do. I'll go
Yeah.
to the 3.0 script and I'll go, like I have it right in front of me right here. So I'm a local realtor. Not sure if now's the right time. I was just hoping to tell you why I called, and you can decide if us having a conversation makes sense or not. Does that seem fair?
And how do people respond to that opening line? Let me just ask you that.
So they think for a second. For me, anyway, they're like, "Oh, sure."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, why not?
It totally catches them off guard. It's doing
Yeah.
exactly what it was designed to do, which is a pattern interrupt. All right. So keep going. So you open that up and they say, yeah, what's up?
Yeah. So I think honestly, one of my pros for me is I've gotten a lot better at hearing motivation over the phone. So like even
Exactly.
if they're telling me they're not motivated, I can hear it in their voice and their tone of voice. So like if they're like, no, I'm not really interested in selling. Like if I can hear it, and I smell that blood in the water, like I'm doing whatever I can to get their foot in the door. Like I'm driving over to their house before I'm even off the phone.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
so that makes sense. So number one, you're focused on like, okay, the reason I'm calling, which I love that you said this, the focus is that you're looking for the appointment. You're listening for the opportunity when most agents don't understand what that sounds like. So therefore their phone calls, they're not very effective.
right.
Would you agree with that?
100%.
Yeah. So now you say, okay, let me ask you before we move on to like the next step, what is it that you're communicating as a brand new agent that has so many sellers agreeing to meet with you in the first place? Like if you want to get into your appointment setting script, you can, or you can just give us like high level approach on how you're getting these people to say, yeah, Vince, come on over.
Honestly, I mean, it's just the scripts, like you said, I mean, it's the framework, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, honestly, I don't know. It's just the reverse selling. I mean, I guess it's just a way that, I know, I mean, for the competition's heavy right now. So I know I'm not the only agent getting in the door.
Yeah.
But obviously I'm saying something that works. And,
it's all you know. It's all you know, because you weren't even in sales before this, were you?
No, I mean, I was selling like lollipops back in high school to like all my friends and stuff, but now it's never in sales.
Yeah.
But,
so all you know is reverse selling. You don't even have anything to compare it to.
Yeah. I'm doing everything that everybody else in the group is doing. And, it's just been working for me. That's all I can say.
Let me give some context, because the audience, I guarantee you, when I post this to YouTube, they're like, well, he didn't say what he says. So what you're probably saying something along the lines of like, well, Vince, let's do this. Let's not agree to anything right now. Obviously, we haven't even met yet. Why don't we simply schedule some time to get together? I'll share with you how my plan works and what I can do to get your property sold. And then you can decide if hiring me makes sense or not. Either way, no big deal. Fair enough. Yeah. Something like that does a couple things. It disarms the prospect, making it easier for them to say yes, because there's no threat. And you gave them the perception that they are in absolute control, that you were not going to go there and pressure them. Is that right?
Right. Yeah. I just do what you tell me to do, honestly.
Beautiful. I wish everybody was like that.
Yeah. I don't know what it does, but it works. That's all I can say. I mean, listen, that exact script you said, I could pull up a video right now, and I recorded myself, and it's literally me saying those exact same words. And then guy's like, maybe, I don't know. And he finally gave in. He's like, all right, yeah, why don't you come over and show me what you have to offer.
Love it. I love it. All right. So beautiful. You just continue to work on those skills. Before we move on to the appointment, from a scheduling perspective, how much prospecting are you doing, Vince, on a daily basis on average?
Yeah. So when I first quit my full-time job, I was at 30 contacts a day. I was like, all right, I'm trying to create business. You know, I have a baby on the way as well. That's due February. So I'm not playing games. Right. So I was at 30 contacts a day, and then got a few appointments, dropped down to 20 contacts a day. I'm just being honest. And then
absolutely,
I'm getting smoked right now. No excuses. Absolutely none. But now I'm at like 10, 15 a day. I'll call right now. I'm calling the daily expireds, daily FISBOs, daily for rent by owners, and then I'll do some circle prospect. I hate circle prospecting.
Yeah.
But I do it anyway. And
Yeah.
I have some leads in the pipeline from it. But yeah, so I'll basically call the fresh for rent by all, like I just said, and then it's really like an hour to a day. So
Yeah, that's perfect. And here's the truth. Here's the truth. Here's the reality that I'll tell you, because we're spending this time together.
Mhm.
Really, that's all you need to stay consistent from where you're at right now, because you have 9 or 10 active, transactions going. An hour and a half or 2 hours of prospecting 5 days a week consistently, your skills are going to continue to increase, number one. And then number two, your pipeline will continue to grow. So as long as you're making 15, 20 good, solid contacts per day, you're going to be a top producer. So you shouldn't feel guilty about that. I like that you said when you first got started, it was at 30, because that's what a new agent needs to do. No listings, no pipeline, no leads, no nothing. So beautiful. Makes a lot of sense. So tell us about the appointment, right? So you set this appointment. What is the mindset, the approach, the tactics that you practice when you go and meet with the seller?
Yeah. So I always, even for a preview appointment, to be honest with you, I mean, you might disagree with this, but I always just found it adds value and separates me from other agents. I'll bring the seller's estimated net sheet, even to a preview.
Yeah,
appointment.
sure.
So I say, listen, I'll just start from the beginning. So I'll bring a market report, but I don't go over it. I say, here, this is for you. You know what I mean? Bring a seller's disclosure. I'll leave it in my car though. I don't always give it to them. I say, hey, do you have a seller's disclosure? I have one in my car. If you don't, a lot of the times they do. Some of the times they don't. So if they don't, I'll say, hey, I'll run out to the car. Let me go grab it. They usually follow me to the car. That's at the end of the meeting. So really, I just walk in. I say, hey, do you want me to take my shoes off? They say no, for the most part. They walk me around the property, and walking around the property is just gold to create rapport. You just talk about anything, and for me, anything and everything. I mean, I'm a sociable.
That's right.
I'll talk about anything.
Yeah.
So then really what happens from there is a lot of times I find out people always ask me, like, even within the group, they're like, how do you get them to sit down with you? You know what I mean? Like, what do you do to get them to sit down? I don't. They tell me to sit down for the most part. They're like, here, sit down at the kitchen table. And I'm like, all right,
perfect.
Sure, why not? You know what I mean?
Are you a suit and tie guy, or do you dress casual?
Sports blazer, kind of like how you dress for the so jeans, white dress shirt, sports blazer.
Got it.
Yeah, so I learned that the hard way. One of the top producing agents in my office was like, dude, they're like, if you're going to meet with the sellers, I usually wear a polo. They're like, you need to dress nicer, dude.
Yeah, 100%.
They're like,
I would encourage you. Just so you know, and maybe you didn't know this, if I go to an appointment, I'm suit and tie every single time. No exceptions, no excuses.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely need more suits. I only have 2 right now, but
well, with all this money you're making, you'll get some more. So
yeah, I'm trying to get a Tesla soon. I told myself like I said, I got a baby on the way, but 200K GCI, I might be getting a Tesla.
There you go. So you have no problem getting them to sit down at the table. And then when you're at the table, what are you saying to yourself on like how you're going to make an impression, how you're going to provide value? What are some of the things that you're doing?
Yeah. So what I bring is the CMA, and I honestly just run through the CMA, and that's basically it, to be honest with you. So I run through the CMA. I say, hey, listen, I show active properties. This is your competition. Pending properties. This is the most accurate because we know for an absolute fact we have buyers who are looking for a home just like yours in your area. Closed properties. This is what an appraiser is going to use to justify the price of your home. So have at it. You know, I mean, this is all like everything you need right here, and basically say, use me as a resource, and like on the backup plan, like absolute fact. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm trying to set in my head. I don't really care about getting the listing appointment all the time. So
love it. I love it. And I mean, it's really simple. And would you agree that like that CMA presentation makes up for like 80% of the appointment?
100%. Yeah. And they usually ask me questions. A lot of it is just creating that relationship. And I don't know if you agree. It's just, we might not even be talking about real estate. They might be talking to me about my life. Like, oh, you're young, or, oh, you have a wedding band on. Like, how long have you been married? You know what I mean? So people like, I don't want to harp on this, but people do business with who they like.
So simple. Another thing people have such a hard time understanding, and it's so true. It's very, very simple.
Yeah.
You know,
like I beat out an agent. I sat down for this, went to a preview appointment, right? She goes, hey, Vince, you're going to love this. She goes, hey, Vince, sit down. So before I even like check out the property, she goes, so what do you have to offer?
No way. Yeah, it's great.
I'm like, you thought, I was like, I didn't bring all like my whole agenda. I
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
I thought I was previewing the property. And she goes, well, this other agent just came through and she shows me what he brought. And I'm like,
Yeah.
shit, this guy brought like the whole shebang, color,
Yeah.
like colored paper, a binder, like a straight 1 inch or 2 inch binder
Yeah.
with all these comps handwritten on every comp. And I sat down with her for 2 hours, didn't even have my whole listing presentation with me. And she went with me over the other agent. The other agent's been in business for 15 years and he's his own broker. So that
Yeah.
made me feel pretty good.
Well, I mean, I say, you hear me say it all the time, but people watching this interview or listening to this interview don't hear me say it. And that is, it is not about what you do or what you bring. It's all about how you make people feel.
Yeah.
And knowing what you know now, is that something that you absolutely are bought into, that you absolutely believe? And you're living proof of that, because that other person on paper, if you asked 1,000 people, who do you guys think is going to get the listing? This 15-year veteran, he's his own broker, all this sexy ass material, or Vince, brand new agent, brought nothing.
Black and white, stapled paper.
Yeah, I know, that was me. And so like, this just goes to show that so many agents are focused on the wrong thing, right? Where it's all about how you can communicate with somebody and how you can make them feel. You were at the summit, so you get it. When I showed the movie of Southpaw, right?
Yeah.
And then we brought 2 agents on stage. They read a script. They did okay.
I thought they did pretty good.
They did pretty good. It almost screwed up my whole thing. I'm like, oh crap. So the point was like, they read the same words, right? And then when the actors did it, you felt so much emotion.
Yeah, right.
And that's kind of the point. So you're going there, you're connecting with the seller, you're getting them to like you, you're building rapport, you're making them feel as though you're going to take great care of them, that you are the obvious choice. Now let's talk about the big thing, which is follow-up, right?